We start on crime, and the Kintampo Divisional Police Command says its report on investigations into the Gore Kintampo accident that claimed 60 lives is ready.
About 61 persons lost their lives while several others sustained severe injuries when a Kumasi-bound Metro Mass Transit bus traveling from Tamale collided head-on with a truck loaded with tomatoes at Kintampo last month. The Kintampo Divisional Commander, Chief Superintendent Desmond Owusu Boampong, who confirmed the completion of the work of the committee that was inaugurated to investigate the accident, says it is to be handed over to the Office of the Inspector General of Police. Chief Superintendent Boampong says only relations of or relatives of the victims of the accident or victims themselves can request for a copy of the report, however.
Meanwhile, the Accra Region Police Command says those injured in Wednesday's robbery attack on a Forex bureau near Kaneshie in Accra are receiving treatment at the police hospital, and these include 2 of the robbers who currently are under police guard.
The police are, however, hunting for the 2 other robbers who escaped.
Can be said that 12 people sustained some injuries. And the doctor who is in charge of this case regarding the victims who sustained some degrees of injuries this afternoon, the doctor in charge of the case has informed the police that their condition is not one of the life-threatening, and therefore he is going to treat them and, if possibly, discharge them this evening. That is a good news to us. And I can say that 2 of the suspects have been arrested, and they themselves have also sustained some degrees of injuries and are also in the police hospital on admission and are also under armed guard, whilst we also continue with our investigations to pursue the 2 others we suspect were also part of this robbery this afternoon. What is also most of an essence to all of us is that the booty, or let me say the money that was robbed from the Forex bureau, has also been recovered. And presently we are also working with the management of the Forex bureau to check to see whether all the money can also be accounted for.
And the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit DOVSU of the Ghana Police Service says a total of 15,749 cases of sexual and gender-based violence were recorded last year, 2015, all nationwide.
This figure, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection says, is alarming and has begun a number of interventions to curb the trend.
Sexual and gender-based violence, or SGBV, is violence that targets individuals or groups on the basis of their gender. It includes acts that inflict physical, mental or sexual harm or suffering, the threat of such acts, coercion and other deprivations of liberty. Statistics show that men and boys are the major perpetrators of such acts. According to DOVSU, Dakuman is one of the communities that has a high record of sexual and gender-based violence. Through dialogue, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, in partnership with DANIDA, is empowering men to serve as change agents in ending sexual and gender-based violence. Male members of the Dakuman community, DOVSU officials and representatives of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection attended the dialogue. DSP Lydia Osei-Japon shared some statistics on SGBV and encouraged males to make a difference beginning from their homes.
We are trying to change the way people behave culturally. We are not saying that our cultures and our traditions are not good. However, anything that is harmful, whether it's culturally or legally. The law supersedes cultures.
Program Manager of Ending SGBV in Ghana, Petra DeGraft Johnson, says the program has already kicked off in several communities across the country.
How we hope to measure impact is we intend to go back into the communities, to speak with key stakeholders. We intend to look at figures from DOPSU within the communities that we have been to see whether more cases are being reported or whether less are being reported.
Some participants of the dialogue lauded the initiative and shared their opinion.
This is a very educative program. If time to time such program will come to the communities, I think it will help.
Yeah, I think it's a very good thing to do, and this is long expected. Those type of lessons should be taught, not even just here, but it should be somehow even taught in schools.
Meanwhile, DSP Lydia Osei-Japong says DOPSU is recording a higher number of domestic violence cases because most victims are now aware of their rights and report acts of abuse, and not necessarily because domestic violence has increased.
President John Dramani Mahama has announced that the Economic Community of West African States, known to many of us as ECOWAS, will in the coming days call for an emergency summit to fashion out ways to deal with the threat of terrorism and organized groups in the sub-region.
The president said this when the outgoing Malian ambassador to Ghana, Kanamji Sata Coulibaly, called on him at the Flagstaff House here in Accra on Wednesday.
On behalf of the people of Ghana, express our strongest solidarity with Mali at this particular time, especially considering the cowardly attacks that the terrorists continue to carry out against hotels and other public places in Mali.
Okay.
Yesterday I had the opportunity to visit Côte d'Ivoire to attend the CEO Executive Forum, and I took the opportunity to express our solidarity with Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Mali.
Okay.
An attack on any of these countries or all these countries is an attack against us.
Mm-hmm.
And so together with President Ouattara, we agreed that we must call an ECOWAS meeting as soon as possible and discuss these new threats that have developed to the whole of the sub-region.
Okay.
And I'm certain that when we hold this meeting, my brother, President Keita, would be present, and he would have a lot to contribute on how we can work together to defeat these terrorists.
The three South African ex-police officers who were arrested on Sunday for training private security personnel of the New Patriotic Party presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his running mate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have so far been charged.
The three have been charged with conspiracy to commit crime and unlawful training. The head of Nana Addo's security team, Captain Retired Edmond Koda, and the owner of the El Capitano Hotel, Captain Retired Aqua, have also been charged. They are expected to be arraigned before court today, Thursday. The three ex-police officers are still in the BNI custody, undergoing some interrogation. Officials of the South African High Commission were told have also met the three to interrogate them. There will be more definitely on the story here on Joy News.
In other news, the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Haruna Idrisu, has announced plans to streamline recruitment of Ghanaian migrants who travel to the Gulf regions, all in search of work.
The migrants who are promised juicy jobs arrive in these countries only to meet non-existent jobs and also be subjected to some dehumanizing treatment. The Inter-Ministerial Committee, according to the Labour Minister, will clamp down on illegal recruiting firms.
Migrants who travel to the Gulf countries are either skilled or unskilled employees in search of greener pastures. The desperate job seekers are usually given raw deals by the recruiting companies upon reaching the destination countries. In a bid to restructure and bring relief to migrants, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, in partnership with the Foreign Affairs and the Interior Ministries, are working towards streamlining the trend. Haruna Idrisu, in an interview with Joy News, threatened to deal ruthlessly with recruiting companies that will break the regime expected to be instituted in the coming days.
As much as we support
export of services abroad, including Ghanaian citizens, it has to be done with the pledge that they will be treated with honor and dignity. And then compensation, when it comes to even deportation, how they get back home, maybe some insurance mechanism and other issues. So we had a meeting hosted by the foreign minister to discuss the issue, and particularly to focus on the Arab Gulf, Saudi Arabia, and one that we are now considering with the Jordanian delegation. Review and sign onto a memorandum of understanding which protects the honor and dignity of our citizens likely to be recruited and deployed abroad as domestic or house help. We've also accordingly requested that the police should clamp down on all illegal recruiting agencies in the country and to deal decisively and ruthlessly with them in accordance with Ghanaian law.
Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete also charged the companies in the industry to avoid possible punitive actions once protocols are instituted.
We want you to consider yourselves as persons who are there to set an example of what the best practice is, and to encourage those of your members who have not properly registered to do so within the shortest possible time. Because I expect that going forward after this meeting, both the Ministry of Employment, the Labour Department, the Ghana Immigration Service, the Ghana Police Service will take the necessary steps to make those who are non-compliant compliant or shut down their businesses.
The meeting, according to her, forms part of a process to create administrative and legal framework to ensure employers operate in a regulated environment.
The Ghana Cocoa Board is projecting a better crop season this year compared to the low output yields experienced during the 2014-2015 season.
The previous year's dip, according to the chair of Cocoa Board's Supreme Consultative Council, was mainly due to bad weather. Speaking at a meeting with regional staff of Cocoa Board and cocoa farmers at Kejibiri in the Western region, Alhaji Idris Al-Hassan assured they are likely to meet this year's production target because weather conditions are more favorable.
The meeting, which was attended by chief farmers in the various districts of the Western region, was aimed at educating farmers on their rights and responsibilities to enable them get fair treatment from cocoa purchasing clerks. It was also an opportunity to enlighten them on the formation of the Cocoa Board Workers' Union, which is a breakaway from the Ghana Agricultural Workers' Union and the Industrial and Commercial Workers' Union. Various speakers, including the National Chief Farmer, Haji Al-Hassan Bukari, elaborated on efforts by government to ensure increase in cocoa production. During an open forum, farmers expressed dissatisfaction that Ghana's cocoa production is dwindling despite recent interventions. They were also unhappy most cocoa farms are being given out for galamsey purposes. The chair of Supreme Consultative Council of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Alhaji Idris Al-Hassan, in an interview called on politicians to avoid blaming governments for the low yield. He explained that most farmers depended solely on natural rainfall pattern for farming purposes, and any reverse in the rainfall pattern adversely affected the farming industry.
The reason why we had some reduction in cocoa production have nothing to do with the administration of Dr. Okunu or the insensitivity of the government. It has to do with the weather pattern, as you rightly said. The inputs that are needed to be given to the cocoa farmers have been given to them. The necessary motivation that need to be given to the working people of the cocoa industry to handle cocoa is equally given to the cocoa industry workers. And as such, if there is a setback in the production of cocoa, the only basic thing which everybody in this country can point to has to do with the weather pattern.
He was, however, hopeful that Ghana can achieve its production targets this year and halt cocoa importation from Ivory Coast. William Benjamin Peters report from the Western region.
Cocoa. I know that Mama has a lot of relatives who are in some of those cocoa growing areas.
Yeah, definitely.
And
a lot of people in Asaman can say.
I'm sure they're very happy about this very news.
It's going to be better. This year will be
comments?
Better. Yeah, we do have lots of comments. Emmanuel York is in Takwa. He says, how prepared and safe is Accra, Roland? The rains are here and we don't want any disaster. It has rained the whole night here in Takwa. Well, you're not alone. It's been raining in Accra as well.
So far it's been managed well.
All right. This one says, good morning to all the hard-working crew of the AM show. I know where this is coming from. Anyway, I want to find out,
Okay.
I want to find out what GES and the governments are doing about the validation exercise. Always on validation.
Again,
we the teachers deserve better and must be paid what is due, as Abdullah Abdul Razak in Tamale.
Your comments are noted and appropriately. I'm sure that we'll try and get Mama Vicky's promising that we'll call the PRO for the Ghana Education Time.
I keep promising, No, but the validation is okay. Yeah,
we keep mentioning him every week.
And
but Mama will try. So
Razak, today we'll go there. Even if it's within talk, we will.
Okay.
This one says, stop thinking in terms of limitations and start thinking in terms of possibilities. Good morning, Roland. Mama V, God will richly bless you one day for your good works for Mother Ghana. That's from Love Mac at Dodi.
We need to read the rewards here.
So this one says, a school in Central Tong Mafe, Midwako Presby Primary School building, which was started in 2005 with Get Fund, was uncompleted, making learning difficult. Meanwhile, the school is the oldest in the circuit. Started sometime in 1922. We want your team to visit a school and see things for yourself.
We'll give this to Joseph Opoku Gapo, and then he will be there to give you a
now you've been assigning the correspondents and the reporters to go around there.
We have those powers.
All right. Good morning, Mama and Roland. Ghana security should not be taken as jokes as we're heading towards elections 2016. That's from Mohammed A. Rahman sending us that message. This one says, the mother of the man who just won the recent MTN Heroes of Change died. Okay, so please help me send my condolences. Burial and final funeral rite is today. That's from Gan Sinyuan from Nangpandori sending us that message.
Our condolences to you, and we hope that you take solace in the good work that you do for which you've been rewarded.
Okay, one more, and then we'll bring you the newspapers. Good morning, Mama V and Roland. A lot of SHS in the north need to be investigated seriously because they charge high fees, but they don't develop the school. No PTA meetings are organized for some number of years. Salaga SHS is one of those schools from Mamus in Salaga.
We'll see how that goes. Again, all this will be in the lap of the GES PR when we are in a position to call him as always. But you want to get interactive, please make sure you do so. On Facebook, we have a page there. Interestingly, we have a number of the postings there as well for you always to give us a lot more feedback. And the page's name is Join News on TV. We've linked it to our Twitter handle at Join News on TV. But for WhatsApp, it's 0560 800,000. And many of you keep giving us a lot more of those messages. We just even can't read enough of them, but we'll try as much as possible to do a lot more of those honors and relay some of those messages to you.
We're getting lots of messages also on the weather, so we'll spend a bit of time on it. When we come back, though, we'll do the newspapers and check out the online portal. Stay with us.
We'll be right back.